In 2003, Brendan Fraser was one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. He was the face of a billion-dollar franchise. Women were obsessed with him, and studios were throwing money at him left and right. Then one afternoon at the Beverly Hills Hotel, a powerful man grabbed him in a way that changed his life forever. Within a few years, Brendan Fraser went from leading blockbusters to barely getting a callback. He gained weight. He went through a brutal divorce. He had surgery after surgery. And Hollywood just forgot about him. But here is where the story gets incredible, because Brendan Fraser did not stay forgotten. He came back, and he did not just come back. He won the Academy Award for Best Actor. This is his story. Brendan James Fraser was born on December 3, 1968 in Indianapolis, Indiana, but calling him American is only half the story. His parents were Canadian, and because his father worked as a journalist and travel executive, the family moved constantly. Brendan grew up bouncing between cities like Ottawa, Detroit, Seattle, London, and even Rome. That kind of childhood could go one of two ways. Either you become withdrawn and isolated, or you learn how to adapt, how to read a room, how to become whoever you need to be. Brendan became an actor. He studied at the Cornish College of the Arts in Seattle, and then headed to Hollywood to see if he could make it. His first real credit was a tiny role as Sailor No. 1 in the River Phoenix movie Dogfight in 1991. Not exactly a star-making turn, but the very next year, everything changed. In 1992, Brendan landed two roles that put him on the map. First was Encino Man, a goofy comedy where he played a caveman thawed out of ice. It was silly, it was fun, and it made money. But it was School Ties that showed Hollywood what Brendan Fraser could actually do. In that film, he played a Jewish teenager hiding his identity from anti-Semitic classmates at a prep school. He was acting alongside a young Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and he held his own against both of them. The industry took notice. Over the next few years, Brendan kept building. He did Airheads with Adam Sandler and Steve Buscemi. He did smaller dramatic roles, and then in 1997, Disney came calling with George of the Jungle. That movie made $175 million worldwide and turned Brendan into a genuine movie star. He was tall, he was handsome, he was funny, and he had this warmth to him that audiences just loved. He was not trying to be cool. He was not brooding or mysterious. He was just this big, lovable, charming guy, and people could not get enough of him. But it was 1999 that made Brendan Fraser a global phenomenon. The Mummy was a massive hit, earning over $415 million at the box office. Brendan played Rick O'Connell, an adventurous, wisecracking hero in the vein of Indiana Jones. The movie was pure entertainment, and Brendan was perfect in it. A sequel followed in 2001, The Mummy Returns, which made even more money. At this point, Brendan Fraser was one of the most bankable actors in Hollywood. He was the guy studios wanted for their big-budget action movies. Everything was working, and in between the blockbusters, he was proving he could do serious work too. In 1998, he starred in Gods and Monsters alongside Ian McKellen, playing a young gardener who befriends the aging director of Frankenstein. It was a quiet, beautiful performance that showed a completely different side of him. Critics loved it. The problem was, Hollywood did not really want that version of Brendan Fraser. They wanted the action hero, and that is where things started to go wrong. Here is something people do not talk about enough when they discuss Brendan Fraser's career. The action movies nearly killed him. And that is not an exaggeration. Brendan did most of his own stunts in the Mummy films, and the toll on his body was catastrophic. Over the course of several years, he needed surgery on his back, his knee, and his vocal cords. He had a partial knee replacement. He needed a laminectomy on his spine, and when it did not work properly, they had to do it again the following year. He was getting bolted back together just to keep working. At one point, he described himself as basically being held together by surgeries. Think about that for a second. This man was destroying his body to entertain us. And when the injuries piled up and he could not move the way he used to, Hollywood just replaced him. When the Mummy franchise made a third film in 2008 and it underperformed, the next installment replaced Brendan entirely with Dwayne Johnson. The message was clear. You are only valuable when your body works. But the physical damage was only part of the story. In the summer of 2003, Brendan attended a luncheon hosted by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association at the Beverly Hills Hotel. The HFPA is the organization behind the Golden Globe Awards. They are one of the most powerful groups in entertainment. As Brendan was leaving the event, the then president of the HFPA, a man named Philip Burke, stopped him and shook his hand. According to Brendan, Burke groped him. Brendan did not go public with what happened, not for years. He went home and told his wife, but he could not bring himself to report it. He was afraid of being humiliated. He was afraid of what it would do to his career. He was a man in Hollywood saying another man had sexually assaulted him, and in 2003, nobody was ready to have that conversation. What followed was a slow, quiet collapse. Brendan became depressed. He started blaming himself. He described the feeling as something being taken away from him. And he believed, genuinely believed, that speaking up led to him being blacklisted. The roles dried up. The phone stopped ringing. The man who had been in $300 million movies was suddenly getting offered nothing. It was not until 2018, during the height of the Me Too movement, that Brendan finally told his story publicly in a GQ profile titled, "Whatever Happened to Brendan Fraser?" The HFPA conducted an internal investigation and concluded that while Burke had indeed inappropriately touched Fraser, they characterized it as being intended as a joke rather than a sexual advance. They asked Brendan to sign a joint statement saying as much. He refused. Burke faced no disciplinary action and remained a voting member of the organization for years after that. He was eventually expelled in 2021, but not because of what he did to Brendan. He was kicked out for sending an email criticizing the Black Lives Matter movement. While all of this was happening behind the scenes, Brendan's personal life was also falling apart. He went through a painful divorce from his wife, Afton Smith. His mother passed away. The combination of physical pain, emotional trauma, depression, and personal loss took a devastating toll. He gained a significant amount of weight. His appearance changed dramatically. And the tabloids, of course, treated it as entertainment. Photos of Brendan looking heavier made the rounds online with cruel captions. By the mid-2010s, Brendan Fraser had essentially vanished from Hollywood. He moved to upstate New York to raise his 3 sons. He took small roles in movies nobody saw. The man who had been the lead in some of the biggest movies of the late 90s was now a footnote. And most people just assumed he had retired or lost interest in acting. They had no idea what had actually happened to him. But Brendan Fraser did not give up. And this is the part of the story that makes you want to stand up and cheer. In 2021, things started to shift. He was cast in Doom Patrol, an HBO Max series where he played a washed-up former race car driver turned superhero. It was not a blockbuster, but it was a quality show, and it reminded people that Brendan Fraser could still act. Director Steven Soderbergh saw potential in him and cast him in No Sudden Move alongside Don Cheadle. The momentum was building. Then came the role that changed everything. Director Darren Aronofsky had been trying to adapt a play called The Whale for over a decade. He had met with nearly every actor of a certain age in Hollywood, but could not find the right person. Then he happened to see a trailer for a small Brazilian film Brendan appeared in, and something clicked. He saw a vulnerability in Brendan that he knew was real. After their first meeting, Aronofsky said he felt it immediately. He knew Brendan could play a man that audiences would initially dismiss, but then fall in love with within 20 minutes. The Whale premiered at the Venice Film Festival in September 2022 and received a 6-minute standing ovation. Brendan broke down crying during the applause, and honestly, watching that moment, it is impossible not to feel something. This was a man who had been chewed up and spit out by the same industry that was now giving him a standing ovation. When award season came around, Brendan swept. He won the Screen Actors Guild Award. He won the Critics' Choice Award. And on March 12, 2023, Brendan Fraser won the Academy Award for Best Actor. He later said he could not even remember what he said during his acceptance speech. The emotion was that overwhelming. When asked about the Golden Globes, where he was also nominated, Brendan made his position clear. He refused to attend. He said his mother did not raise a hypocrite, and that he had more history with the HFPA than he had respect for them. That took guts. So where is Brendan Fraser now? The answer is exactly where he belongs. Back on top, but on his own terms. After The Whale, he appeared in Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon in 2023. Then in 2025, he starred in Rental Family, a critically acclaimed dramedy set in Tokyo, where he plays an American actor, who finds purpose working for an agency that hires people to play stand-in family members for lonely strangers. The film earned an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes and reminded everyone once again why Brendan Fraser is so special. There is this quality he has, this genuine warmth and empathy that very few actors can replicate. And if that was not enough, it has been confirmed that Brendan will reprise his iconic role as Rick O'Connell in a brand new Mummy film set for 2028, reuniting with Rachel Weisz. The fans who never stop believing in him are finally getting what they always wanted. He also has Pressure coming out in 2026, a World War II drama where he plays General Eisenhower in the 72 hours before D-Day. The man is working, the man is thriving, and more importantly, the man is at peace. Brendan Fraser's story is not just a celebrity comeback. It is about what happens when the people in power decide you are disposable. It is about being assaulted and having the organization that is supposed to hold people accountable call it a joke. It is about losing your health, your marriage, and your career, and still finding a way to get back up. But here is the real question. Would Hollywood have ever given Brendan Fraser a second chance if his story had not fit so perfectly into a comeback narrative? Or did they only care once it became a feel-good story they could celebrate at award shows? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And if this story moved you, make sure you subscribe to Celeb Blindspot because trust me, the next one is even crazier.